Well, if you guys are big fans of the Japanese wrestling scene in general, as always, you guys are in the right channel. So today we're going to be doing three reviews from two different promotions. The first one is, of course, from MARIGOLD, where some of their latest of the New Year's Golden Garden tour, one in Osaka and the other one back in Tokyo. Some matches are preliminaries for the upcoming big event they will be doing down the road. And then, of course, we continue with day 8 of New Japan collaborating with the brethren from Mexico, CML, with Fantastica Mania. This one features, of course, some matches that involve rivalry, and of course, the main event features the MLW World Middleweight Championship will be defended. Mystico defends his belt against Arveno. And then, of course, we cap up our episode, as always, with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Eagles just landed, so let's begin with our first review, and this is day 12 of MARIGOLD's New Year's Golden Garden in Osaka. MARIGOLD with day 12 of the New Year's Golden Garden, and this happened in Osaka at the 176 box venue. Uh, this took place recently on the 22nd of February, in case anybody asks. Now, of course, we had for opening up Kizuna Tanaka, who, as many of you remember, she's been out on injury. According to what they said, she was going to take about 2 months off. Now, it wasn't nothing serious, but I don't know what she said. But I'm sure that her fans are dying to see her again, ready to go. We don't know what direction she's going to go. As you all know, her tag team partner, Victoria Zuki, is the current Superfly champion. So we'll see where that goes. But for now, let's just jump in with the, of course, first match. Our first match, we have the Flying Penguin taking on Ryoko Sakimura. Now, of course, Sakimura has lesser experience, so it's most likely that this match was going to fall in favor for Flying Penguin when she applied, of course, the Boston Crab, which is, of course, a move where they teach the rookies how to perfect it. So it worked out in Flying Penguin's favor, and she won just like that by tap out. Our next match, we have Riara taking on our current United National Champion, Mai Sakurai. Now, of course, nothing to significance of this match. However, no one has stepped up yet to challenge Mai Sakurai for the white belt. But Riara, well, I wouldn't be surprised if she tries to do something stupid. But unfortunately, she ended up losing by using the same kind of move that, of course, Nagisa Nozaki was using, the Lance Nor, and just like that, it was over. But however, during the post match, after winning that match, Sakurai decided to teach her a lesson by putting her in the Paradise Lock. So referee was baffled, but of course he had to help her out, knowing too well that Sakurai was going to leave her there. Our next match, we have Rhea Seto taking on one half of the Twin Star Tag Team Champions, Seri Yamaoka. Nothing too special, but of course, Seri Yamaoka has been very impressive for a rookie, having some great successful matches. But however, this match ended with a somewhat version of this match where you know how you put the person in a full Nelson lock? Well, instead of putting them in a submission, somehow she was able to modify it and turn it into a pinfall. I don't know what to call it, but let's call it the Nelson pinfall, just like that, just for the heck of it. But it was very effective for her to pick up the win. So you probably wouldn't see it. So if you guys ever go to Wrestle Universe and watch this match, you see what I'm talking about. Now, our next match, we have the members of the faction Darkness Revolution, consistent of Megaton and Bozilla. They take on Nao Ishikawa and, of course, our current Crimson Belt champion, the world champion herself, Utami Hayashida. Now, of course, remember, this is a preliminary match for Bozilla and Utami, since Bozilla is the #1 contender for the world title. So you probably can guess how this was going to go. However, now Ishikawa ended up on the wrong side of the wrath of Bozilla when she ended up in a pile driver, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. But however, Bozilla had some things to say to Tommy. As you know, Bozilla, this is not her first time where she aimed for the Crimson Belt. Last time she aimed for it, she lost to Sari, and she thinks confident enough that this will be, of course, a short reign for Utami Ishida. But Utami Ishida refuses to back down, showing no fear whatsoever of Bozilla's size and strength. But however, that wasn't over. Apparently, a Megaton, who is still a little pissed off after what happened in the Korakuen Hall event in the 20th, well, it turns out that she had an axe to grind against Nao Ishikawa. Those who saw this, Nao Ishikawa wasn't present, but Gigaton was there. In reality, that was Nao Ishikawa who was dressed up, getting under her skin. And I think that really pissed Megaton off. So we may see a bit of a rivalry between those two. So we'll see what happens down the road. Now, we got the other members, of course, of Darkness Revolution. Well, Nagisa Nozaki was not involved in this event. Well, that I'm assuming she was booked somewhere else or what. We have, of course, Mitsa Matsui and Chiaki. They take on Natsumi Shozuki and Miku Anu. Wasn't too sure what to expect, but man, this match, it just ended up being in a time limit draw. These two teams went all out, no holds back. But however, as soon as the post match promo happened after the time limit draw, Mitsuya Matsui had some words to say to Natsuma Suzuki. I think for her, she feels now that with a member as Darkness Revolution, she's willing to make Suzuki pay for the losses she suffered, all thanks to her. So most likely there's going to be a bit of the continuation rivalry between those two down the road. So we'll see where that leads us from there. Now, for our main event, we have Yuki Minami and Chika Goto. They take on, of course, Victoria Yuzuki, our current Superfly champion, and Mirai. Now, of course, you probably would think in some capacity in this X factor of the match, Yuki Minami is the weakest link of the group, since she has a bit of the less experience than Chika Goto, Victoria Yuzuki, and of course Mirai. And of course, that ended up with a submission by Mirai onto Minami, and just like that, she had no choice but to tap. Now, I don't know what happened in the post-match promo. I don't know what Mirai said, but I'm sure everybody were behind her. So we'll see what happens down the road with Mirai. But however, let's move on to day 13 of Marigold's New Year's Golden Garden. Okay, as we continue more with Marigold with New Year's Golden Garden, this is their much recent show that took place on the 27th of February, but it was not broadcast the following day, which is the 28th, of course. So you probably can guess it now. This took place in Tokyo at the Tobu Friend Hall. I don't know where that is, but that's a very different venue from what I saw. Now, as always, we did see Kizuna Tanaka doing a promo, promoting the upcoming event real soon. I don't remember what day it will land, but we'll see. Now, our first four matches, to give you guys a heads up, they're all singles match because the main event features a 10-woman tag team match. All members of Darkness Revolution team up to take on a team that's been makeshift, and we'll get to that. So let's get started with the singles matches. There are all four of them. The first one, we have Riara versus Natsumi Shozuki. Nothing too special about this match in any way possible. I mean, Shozuki, you probably would think, okay, ever since she lost the Superfly Championship, where does she go from here? Well, that's an excellent question. But however, Shozuki displayed her technical capabilities when she applied a somewhat of a modified leg lock on Riara, and just like that, Riara had no choice but to tap. Now, Shozuki remained in the ring because she had another match afterwards. She was facing against Rhea Seto. Nothing too special either, but Rhea Seto has developed a little bit of the skill. She has grown up a bit, but however, none of that was important to her because she ended up once again on a losing streak when Shozuki applied a running Meteora, and just like that, it was over. Now, there was a moment where, of course, after the pinfall, Shozuki had a little concern over her ankle. Hopefully, she's okay, but she seems fine. However, I don't know what she said in her post match promo, but just like that, it was over. Next up, we have Ryoko Sakimura taking on, of course, the former white belt champion Miku Ano. Wasn't too sure what to expect. I mean, I did expect it, of course, Sakimura to lose since she is still a rookie, but it was Ano who picked up the win with a submission, and just like that, it was over. Next match, we have Yuki Minami taking on our current white belt champion Mai Sakurai. Once again, nothing too special about this one, but however, if you guys can guess, this match ended with Mai Sakurai winning, once again applying the same Lance Norm move onto her, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. Now, our next match, which is our main event, it features all members of Darkness Revolution, consisting of Megaton, Misa Matsui, Chiaki, Nagisa Nozaki, and Bozilla. They take on Nao Ishikawa, Chika Goto, Victoria Yuzuki, Mirai, and Utami Ayashida. Now, it's no secret for some of you, there's certain things going on in this match. Of course, Bozilla, as you know, is the number one contender for the Crimson Belt, who will be facing Utami Ayashida. Megaton has her issues towards, of course, um, Nao Ishikawa for what she did this past um, on the last time they event on the 20th. So you probably can guess a lot of things. But however, certain moments you will see dirty tactics coming from, of course, Chiaki trying to help out the move to make sure this match won. But however, now Shikawa ended up on the wrong side of Bozilla's path when she applied the pile driver, and just like that. However, of course, during the post match, it seems Megaton was not happy with the results of what happened on back on the 20th of February, where of course now Shikawa dressed up like Gigaton, like a mock version of herself. So Megaton was pissed, and they decided to make an example of her by putting a dog collar, treating her like a pet. Utame Yoshida, Victoria Yuzuki, Mirai, and Chikagoto tried to intervene to stop them, but it was just way too much due to the fact of the tiredness of their match. So seems now that Megaton and Naoshikawa has a bit of a rivalry. Sooner or later, Naoshikawa's gonna have to deal with Megaton's nonsense, despite the fact that she won't leave her alone this time. So we'll see what happened down the road. But as of right now, we are finished with MARIGOLD with both of their recent shows. So let's move on with the final review: New Japan Pro Wrestling and CML Fantastica Mania. Okay, day 8 of Fantastica Mania with New Japan and CMLL. So this once again was back in Cork and Hall. In case anybody asked, this is their much recent event they have put out. Our first match, we have singles action. We have Raider versus Max Star. Now these two guys did met up the day before in a 6-man tag match. However, it was Max Star that picked up the win against Raider. So you probably would expect that Raider would definitely try to get revenge for that loss he suffered the day before, which of course it played out pretty well. He applied like a moonsault where he was carrying him over, which was very impressive. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Our next match, we have Kamataichi and Sandoka Jr., Mascara Kan, uh, Kentatsu Tomato, and Titan. They take on Ruski Taguchi, Ninja Mac, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Zelhua. Now, nothing too special about this match in any way possibility. But however, unfortunately, Taguchi ended up on the wrong side of the wrath of Tomato, and just like that, he had no choice but to tap. Our next match, we have Bone Soldier Jr. teaming up with Stigma and Atlantis Jr. taking on Cozy Max, consistent of Okumura and Satoshi Kojima, along with the man, the myth, the legend, Ultimo Guerrero. So you would think. However, in this match, of course, Mima Shinoda, who is a valet for Okumura, got caught in the crossfire in this entire matchup. Not to mention, Bone Soldier used her as a weapon on Okumura, and just like that, the whole thing was becoming chaotic. But however, it was what's his name, Okumura, who picked up the win onto what's his name, onto Stigma, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Next up, we have 6-man tag team match. We have El Desperado, Neon, and Templario taking on Los Depredadores, consisted of Magnum, Rugido, and Volador Jr. Now, of course, you probably haven't forgotten the last time these guys, Los Depredadores, attacked Templario to teach him a lesson for aligning himself with, of course, with the United Empire. But newsflash, United Empire were not involved in this match one way or the other. But it was, of course, um, the shenanigans from Los Depredadores when they removed, of course, Templario's mask, and of course Volador Jr. actually um, pinned him, and just like that, it was over. But once again, they decided to set an example on him by not giving back his mask. Even Desperado and Neon tried to help, but it wasn't enough. But of course, they removed Neon's mask, and then Neon got his mask back. But it's Templario who, in fact, they were targeting. So I don't know what, like I said, what TJP is gonna do. He should deal with this fact that one of his own teammates is all alone and he can't even defend himself, for Christ's sakes. So that's poor judgment from TJP on that part. But we'll see. Our next match, this is a bit of a revenge sequence that happened from the day before. Hechicero versus Barbaro Cavanero. Now remember, last time Barbaro actually removed Hechicero's mask. Payback for all the years that he actually put him in pain through submission. But however, Barbaro put all the stops into him, tried to be more aggressive to him as possible to try to break him. So that kind of went out the window. But it was Hechicero once again with of course, a submission, and Barbaro Cabanero had no choice but to tap, giving Hechicero the win. But at the end of the post match, of course, Hechicero and Barbaro actually hugged it out, and of course, let this go one way or the other. Our next match, we have Soberano Jr. versus Mascara Dorada. So it's no secret that these two guys really don't like each other. So everything went up the hell on this one for Doe. Of course, Soberano Jr. attempted to do whatever it takes to pick up the win. But towards the end, it was Mascara Dorada who applied the win when he pulled up all the stops with the shooting star press. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our main event, we have the MLW World Middleweight Championship. Místico, el Príncipe de Plata, or should we say in translation, the Prince of Silver, or the Silver Prince, defends his belt against Arveno. Now, of course, Arveno will be is a bit of an aggressive wrestler. He will do whatever it takes. But Místico, he is an absolute legend. He is one of the best luchadors coming from Mexico. But once again, he picked up another fantastic win when he applied the Mística, which is like a Fuji or an armbar, but he calls it the Mística instead, which always been successful for him to pick up all his wins. And just like that, he just retained his belt after a submission. And just like that, it was over. Now, I'm not sure if we will see more of the Fantastica Mania, but hopefully we do. But I think we're done with that. But for now, we'll end things here and move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so we are now doing our news updates, so let's keep you guys updated on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling. The first thing we're going to do, of course, is to give you guys updates on upcoming events with the promotions and who's going to be participating and what matches are being set. Now, as you all know, we have the Barb Sasaki 25th anniversary show known as Crazy Fest that will take place on the 10th of March. They announced once again another Stardom talent will be involved. Azumi. First, of course, we had Zuzu, Mayu, Azuki, Starlight Kid, and Saida. That makes Azumi the 6th Stardom wrestler to be announced. So it's kind of interesting. Now, as you all know, we will have the Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling event in Ontario, Mayhem. It's a 2-day event between the 14th and 15th of March. They did announce that the NWA World Heavyweight Championship will be defended. Current champion Tom Latimer, I wish I would have seen him win that belt, will defend his belt against Bishop Dyer, formerly known as Baron Corbin. That's right, folks. It seems that Bishop Dyer, formerly known as Baron Corbin, will be making his first title attempt against a very prestigious championship. Now, the one thing that I was noticed that they never said which day. Will it be on the 14th or the 15th? So I'm sure we will get that announced soon enough. Now, I did not review the last show they did. That was like a couple of months ago, but hopefully I'll get the chance to do so. So we'll see how that rolls up. Now, a match has been announced for the upcoming House of Glory event, the City of Dreams that will take place on the 15th of March. They announced that Sweet Cheeks will take on Jay Bojan. So that's pretty much it. And then finally, Prestige Wrestling for the Roseland 11th show that will take place on the 15th, on the 12th, I think on the 12th of April that will take place. Tomohiro Ishii, the Stone Pitbull, will be making his debut. So that's pretty interesting to hear. Now for some developments. Many of you just saw recently for the 2 weeks in a row that Elijiah, formerly known as Elias, is now in TNA. Fightful Select has now officially confirmed he is currently now signed with TNA. So it's great to hear from that. Ian Riccaboni, many of you know him as the commentator for Ring of Honor. He has done some commentary with AEW in recent times, has filed a trademark called Happy Wrestling. So, yeah, I heard him say Happy Wrestling many times when he does commentary. So, I have to say it's good of him to file that trademark. Now, many of you remember after, of course, when WWE decided to end NXT Level Up, well, they announced a brand new show called WWE Evolve that will be making their debut on Tubi later on in March 5th. And they just announced two commentators will be participating. One, Robert Stone, or as you guys know him now as Mr. Stone, and a guy named Peter Rosenberg. Now, I don't know who this guy is, but if anybody knows who he is, leave a comment down below so I can do a little research on him. Many of you guys know now that Ricky Saints, or formerly known as Ricky Starks, is now officially with WWE. As you probably remember, before going to WWE, being part of the NXT brand, well, Ricky Starks, or should I say Ricky Saints, was the recent title holder of the DEFY Wrestling World Championship, where he defeated Penta for this belt. However, because now of his commitment in NXT, he has announced that he has relinquished the championship. However, he didn't reveal that there will be a brand new champion crown on a show of their on DEFY's show on the 15th of March. So I'll keep apprised who will be involved in this one. I'm sure DEFY Wrestling are scrambling to decide what to do next, now that, of course, the title has been vacant. Now, finally, as you all know, there's been talk about Josh Alexander recently. As you probably know, that he is now officially out of TNA. He's no longer with the company. There were many people that were questioning where's he going to go at next. Now, I know deep down many WWE fans were saying he's probably better off going to WWE. But however, it seems like there's been sources saying that he is making his way to AEW due to the fact that they gave him a much better offer than WWE. Wrestling Observer kind of mentioned that thing. Let me pull it up for you guys so you can hear. This is what they had to say. Josh Alexander has not announced, but multiple sources listed him as a coming, and it's confirmed that to us that he made his decision as to which side, WWE or AEW, has going to be based on what he prevised was the right thing for his family, i.e., and the best offer. So I think some of you may question what offer did AEW gave him. Like, I'm sure they have the necessary financial stability for him, which is obvious. But there is another offer I'm sure that many of you probably will overlook. Don't forget about his family. You know, he is a family man. He loves his wife and his kids. So that could play out a good factor there. But I'm not going to jump into that bandwagon just to say, oh, that's what he did. But that's what I think. But that is pretty much it, what we have for our news updates. So let's just call it a day. Okay. So I hope everybody enjoys this episode. I hope everybody also enjoyed the recent DWZ at the wrestling events where I attended AEW Dynamite. Like I said, I'm going to repeat this again. I will not release the Ring of Honor stuff until the after ROH is already out. So I may release it on a Friday, next Friday, which will be appropriate. So that way everybody could see it for themselves. And I'll give you guys my take on it as well. But as for the next episode, I am considering, as always, we'll do AEW Collision. But as we speak, we will have the much recent Stardom event, New Blood 19. Waka Tsukiyama and Hanako will make their first title defense against wrestlers from Diana, Nanami, and Himiko. However, there is a number one contendership tournament that will be determining who will be facing. And I'll get to that in a bit, and other matches as well. And if there's any other events that I might do, there is a chance I might do Choco Pro. Let's see how my day will turn out for all of you. So most of the events I'll probably be doing is that. However, I will consider doing CML because apparently Konosuke Takeshita will be there too. So we'll see how things will roll up. So let's just hope my day turned out as I planned. But for now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.